How would Desmond Doomsday put it? The worst is yet to come. Wait a minute. January 12th, 1966, a momentous day in TV history because that day saw the premiere of Batman, starring Adam West and Burt Ward as the dynamic duo. So January just seemed like a good time to talk about that historic TV series. Now, of course, the show was a smash hit, and that phenomenal popularity resulted in a lot of merchandise, such as this lunchbox, which I've shown you before in my video about lunchboxes, and this Viewmaster set, which you also got a glimpse of in my video about TV Viewmaster sets. But the Viewmaster set shows us something interesting about the memorabilia created in 1966, and that is, unlike the Viewmaster set, but like the lunchbox, most of it was non-specific to the show. Batman and Robin were the generic Batman and Robin, not Adam West and Burt Ward. And when we saw villains like the Joker and the Riddler, they were not using the likenesses of Cesar Romero and Frank Gorshin. Especially as time has gone on, Batman 66 fans wanted to see merchandise that was specific to the TV show. But how? Because the problem was legalities. There were legal entanglements because Batman, of course, is a DC Comics property. DC is owned by Warner Brothers. The TV show is produced by 20th Century Fox. And there were other entities involved, and these companies could never quite get together to find a way to merchandise the show, or even have it released on home video. Well, as the Blu-ray set puts it, holy headlines, Batman. 2013 did bring the headline of all the legalities were resolved, and Batman 66 was about to have a bonanza of retro-themed merchandise. And perhaps the culmination was the release of the show itself in 2014 on Blu-ray in this incredible box set. One of the results that was really a wow, in fact, it was a pow and a wham, was the Batman 66 comic book released in 2013. And as it says on the cover here, new stories inspired by the classic TV series. And here we get a good look at the logo using the logo of the TV series with 66 in the Batman font. This was an entire comic book series, and as you can see, the art is definitely Adam West and Burt Ward. Whenever the other characters were shown, they were in the likeness of those actors seen on the TV series. So pretty nifty. But aside from this publication, there was a whole slew of merchandise that were really must-haves. So let's take a look here in the, well, it's not exactly the Batcave. We'll start small with this keychain, and even this kind of rack toy type of merchandise really shows how wonderfully done the Batman 66 merchandise is. As you can see, this is Robin, and it is a bendable figure here on the keychain. And you can also see the great packaging that was always done with these collectibles. The logo, the Batman graphic, that looks very much like the animated opening of the TV series. On the back, more graphics. Robin was just one, as you can imagine. There was also Batman, but also the Joker, the Penguin, Catwoman, and the Batmobile. These were really great, especially when you consider it's just a keychain. Now, among the memorabilia issued in the 1960s were the Aurora models, because Aurora, famous for its monster kits, had the DC license. So in addition to Superman and Superboy, they of course did Batman and Robin. But in 2013, Mobius Models issued their new versions of the models, and very clearly this is Burt Ward as Robin the Boy Wonder. And it even says on the back, Mobius Models kit of Robin features a likeness of the youthful Burt Ward as the other half of the dynamic duo. This illustration really shows you a great view of the model, and on the back is the photograph. This is something I really treasure because this was a gift to me from my friend Doug, who actually works at DC Comics. So this is quite the treasure for me. And he knows that I'm quite a Robin fan, so he was very thoughtful in giving this to me. Now, as you can imagine, Much of the merchandise centered around figures. And it's very interesting that there was not only Batman and Robin, but also Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne's youthful ward, Dick Grayson, again in the likeness of Adam West and Burt Ward. But what may be even more interesting is that all the villains were included, including all three versions of Catwoman. That's because DC Comics and Warner Brothers sought out the estates of these actors and finally secured the rights to use their likeness. So we see the Penguin as Burgess Meredith. We see the Joker as portrayed by Cesar Romero. And the telltale sign there is, famously, Cesar Romero would not shave off his mustache. So especially in high resolution, you can see his mustache coming through the makeup. So all the Batman 66 representations of the Joker have the mustache under the makeup. There's also more obscure characters, such as the Bookworm, played by Roddy McDowall, and King Tut, played by Victor Bueno. And incidentally, both of those characters were created especially for the TV series. Most of the other supervillains came from the comic books, including Detective Comics, where Batman was first introduced in issue 27 in 1939. Detective Comics, DC Comics. If you didn't already know, you might be realizing where DC got its name. The keychain has a bendable figure, but there were larger versions as well. And these were really beautifully done and issued separately. But I'm really happy with this bendable figure set. Look how beautifully this is displayed with all these great characters. According to the text on the back, it says this box set includes all of your favorite characters from the classic TV series. Well, they probably do have the most popular of the villains. But if you're a Riddler fan or a Bookworm fan, you're out of luck with this set. But who can resist it? They're so beautifully displayed. The Batman graphic here, the skyline of Gotham City. Just great, great, great use of the graphics. And speaking of figures, I do have to say this is one of my favorite. And I'm really happy that I have it, because it's really one of the iconic moments in the TV series, which is when Batman and Robin scale the side of a building, and on their way up, they would often encounter a guest star popping out through the window, like Jerry Lewis, or Lurch from the Addams Family, or even Santa Claus. Now, I hope I'm not spoiling the magic for anyone watching, or should I say the bat magic. But of course, West and Ward were actually on a vertical set, in other words, on the floor. And it was the camera that made it look like they were horizontal going up the side of a building. But this is by Mattel, so you know it's swell. Again, great presentation, great graphics on the back and the sides. And it says, used based on shelf or wall. So certainly a lot of people have set it up on a bookshelf or on the wall, with Batman and Robin seemingly climbing up. I like to keep it in the box, not so much because of the whole mint in the box collectible thing, but because this presentation is so great. By the way, if you're liking what you see, don't forget to click that like symbol and let everyone know that you're enjoying this video. In fact, don't just click it, smash it. Now, why was the TV series such a smash hit? Well, it was extremely well done. The casting was unbelievable. Just think about Burt Ward as Robin. He's just the embodiment of the boy wonder, and it's amazing that they even found him. He had a background in acrobatics and martial arts, just like Dick Grayson, and really looked great with the mask and everything. I do think that Robin is more challenging to cast than Batman. Robin, who's supposed to be a teenager, has to have a real youthfulness about him and has to be a certain height and a certain look. Batman, of course, Adam West was not only perfect casting with his physical appearance, but he brought his own sort of, shall we say, unique approach to the character, which really worked with this show. And of course, he made very conscious decisions in his acting based on the style and the tone of the show. As I mentioned, Batman premiered in January, not September, and now it's commonplace to have shows introduced, especially in January. But then the idea of a second season was really brand new. So Batman got a lot of attention that way, and also since ABC had 2 slots to fill, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday, they decided to take what was originally thought of as an hour-long show and split it into 2. So you'd see part 1 on Wednesday, and then you had to tune in to see how the cliffhanger was resolved on Thursday. ABC, incidentally, had some experience with having a series on different nights of the week, with Peyton Place, which was a big hit, and at one point was on 3 different nights on ABC. Batman 66, as it's often referred to, was produced by William Dozier, who was also the narrator, uncredited, although he was referred to as Desmond Doomsday because of the very deep and super serious tone of his voice. So this was just a brief look at some of the merchandise created in 2013 and thereafter for Batman 66. But I hope you'll be with me next Tuesday for another new video here at Tulgey TV. Remember, same bat time, same bat channel.